We'll call the meeting to order at 7:32. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is a special meeting this morning. With special meetings, you're limited to any action, discussion, etc. items that are on the posted agenda. We have one item this morning under general business, which is to authorize the purchase of roll monitoring equipment.
Before we get into that, should we adopt and approve the agenda?
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right.
The item that we have on the agenda this morning is to authorize the purchase of roll monitoring equipment. This is associated with the aquifer pumping test that is required by the Minnesota DNR as part of our appropriations permitting process. LRE, our consulting hydrologist, looked at it, and normally they would rent the equipment. There are two issues. One, the fleet of rental stuff out there is all gone, and two, it actually was looking to be cheaper to buy it than to actually lease it, given the length of the aquifer pumping test. Additionally, if we own it, we have, Dave is saying that we should probably keep 2 or 3 for our own monitoring purposes. We would have the option to keep the rest so that we would have and own them if we have to go up for an appropriation permit in the future within some foreseeable period of time for any testing that might be required of that, or we can sell them. So at the end of the day, it makes more financial sense to acquire. They obtained 2 quotes. The lowest one was from Dune Technologies in Holland, Michigan, and the amount of $28,760 with shipping and handling. That comes up to $28,860. Staff is making a recommendation to authorize the purchase in that amount.
Would another option be to, like, could we rent these out to,
You could. That was my thought.
so that we can, have a, I guess, a return on our investment here?
We can always look at it. Quite honestly, it's not like you advertise it. The amount of
Right.
overhead and times for what you would actually get probably wouldn't be great. What we might be able to do is like, for instance, BMI is working with clients who need to do work. They can say, hey, we know Elko New Market has these. They could possibly rent them to you. We've done things in the past where we've rented from, like, flow meters and things from other people. So there is within the world, you might say, backroom helping everybody else out.
Yeah.
So those are things that, yes, are possibilities.
What would the rent be for something like this? If we were to hold on to a few of them and rent them out, what would you rent them for? Do you know?
I have no idea.
No idea. Okay. I didn't know if you knew by looking into renting it for our use, what the charge was.
The rent for these was similar. I can tell you that we probably would not, because it would be opportunistic for us to rent them, where the manufacturer rents them out because everybody's coming to them for the equipment. It's an established market, it's established relationships, there's a level of convenience, et cetera. If we're doing it, it's like, hey, we got it in the back closet. If you come and get it, we'll rent it out to you. We're not providing any IT, we're not providing any support services, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
So it'd be a different situation, so we probably realistically would not be able to demand the market rate related to it. However, we would want to get a reasonable return, and that would be kind of the advantage to coming renting from us as opposed to someplace else. You can get it a little bit cheaper, we can make a little bit of money. I would not count on that, because if you think about it, who needs this volume of transducers for short periods of time unless they are doing this type of monitoring? More than likely, people, when they're using, when they have transducers, they're being permanently mounted within lift station, well, et cetera. And so it's a permanent piece of equipment. I think our return on investment would more likely be along the lines of a sale than any sort of rented out type of deal.
How many are we buying?
buying, looks like 12. 11, let's see, electrical, 11 we are purchasing.
So if we are to sell it then after we are done using this equipment, then would we get anything back as far as what we invest?
Yeah, we would get the sale price back. It's not gonna
Okay.
be new pricing, obviously, but we would be able to recover some of the investment that we made. And so there would need to be a judgment call whether or not it makes sense for us to hang on to these for an estimated or speculated period of time before we would need them again, or whether it would make more sense to simply see if there's a market out there, if people are interested, we can sell them off.
Usually put them up for bids, you see, sell them to the highest bidder.
Okay.
Two questions. One, where is the money coming from to purchase these?
This would come from reserves within the water fund.
So not tax base or general tax or anything like that?
No, as council knows, utilities are self-supporting. They rely on fees and, associated to run, whether it's development fees or usage fees, and are self-contained financially.
Okay. And then just curious, in other long-term use or utility for these, I mean, I could see some potential value within our water supply plan, you know, if there's some things in there that we lay out for, you know, planning and mitigation and stuff like that, I could see us potentially building it in there. Maybe there's already something in the water supply plan that kind of talks about monitoring stuff during drought times. I mean, I could see some long-term benefit where we could use this beyond just the appropriation permit stuff.
All of our permanent wells, except for one, already have this
Okay.
equipment that continuously is uploading data to our servers. We do have one well that's our emergency well in Newmarket that we might consider putting one of these in permanently.
Also, if we're doing periodic or specific monitoring, we are in the process, starting this morning, of punching additional monitoring well or wells. And that's where Dave is anticipating we might be able to use them.
Would any of our current ones be in a need to be replaced now that we have new ones, that we could swap out, you know, 3, 4 of these new ones with some old ones, or maybe they're not at that end of the life yet?
Probably not yet.
Okay.
In 5 years or so, usually look for around 15 years of life, and we put these things in 2016. So,
And these are, the ones that we're getting are also paired with data logging equipment. The ones that we have are installed intended to be permanent, and are connected to our SCADA system. So there might be a little bit of apples and oranges with regards to installing them for permanent use. Maybe not, maybe it's like, nope, it's the same thing, it's just what's at the top. That's an operational question I can't answer.
well, you mentioned we might hold on to 2 or 3, but I don't think we have a use for 11.
Yeah. And I misspoke, I had 3 questions. What was the other bid for? The higher bid?
The higher bid, there was very tight. The higher bid was $29,526, so you're,
Not crazy.
no, they're within $1,000 of each other.
Any other questions, comments?
So Ellery does not have this equipment already? That's not part of the,
No, they rent it when they're doing this type of work for a client, typically.
they normally rent it for the client?
Yep.
Okay.
Motion to approve purchase of well monitoring equipment.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Any motions to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
First and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.